profession that we say is a profession of leadership, it is. Thank you so much. It is the legal profession. And that is why we need to talk to ourselves this afternoon, right? Thank God for every other profession. But, you know, you can live your entire life without having any direct contact with some profession. Are we together? But there is no way you will live without having something to do with law. It's a very powerful profession. And let me say this, the state of the bar to a great extent reflects, you know, the society. And that is why as young lawyers, if we want change to occur in Nigeria, you must take our role very, very seriously. It's from the bar that we have attorney generals. And you know how powerful that cabinet position is? You know, I tell people, the position of the attorney general is the most powerful cabinet position. And that is why if you see they are sitting at Federal Executive Council, the vice president will be, the vice president usually will sit here. Next to the president is the attorney general. Any other minister can sit anywhere. And there is no cabinet position that has any specific qualification before someone can be appointed to it. You can appoint a farmer to be minister for health. Aminu Kano once served as minister for health under Gowon, right? He was a politician, right? I'm not attacking medical profession, with due respect. It's always good to get professionals that will occupy some of these things, but there is nothing in the Constitution that says so. You can appoint somebody even without any qualification to be minister for housing or minister for works. Somebody can be minister for agriculture without knowing anything about agric. But the Constitution specifically put it there. No other person can be appointed to be Attorney General of the Federation or at state level without 10 years minimum at the bar. That's how powerful that position is. Are we together? Why? Because everything revolves around law. There is no policy or anything you want to implement. The next thing is which law. And if the law is not good, the society will be negatively affected. And to an extent, performance of a government or a regime in power will be determined by the quality of Attorney General. An Attorney General was there when June 12 was annulled. Abi? He rolled out the decree. And look at what we passed through. What if such a person could stand up and say, Your Excellency, Mr. President, don't go this way. These are, of course, military at times, they don't listen. But they could be men of muscle with little sense. But an Attorney General, you know, I believe could still help the government in power not to go the wrong way. Look at what we passed through during those dark years of June 12 struggle. Somebody was Attorney General. When the election was annulled, somebody was Attorney General. You know, when, people have been Attorney General. There is no time when we didn't have Attorney General. And they are the one that will influence. They are the one that would instruct people in Ministry of Justice to come up with the laws. Are we together? Right? So the quality of the is the chief legal officer. And if he doesn't know the influence of that position, how powerful it is, he can plunge the whole country into crisis. It's from the bar that judges are appointed. My Lord is here this afternoon. He was at the bar before. You all know him, right? It's from the bar he was appointed. So if people at the bar do not understand the power of leadership, and you appoint such a person to the bench, very sensitive position, it can create big problems. Sadly enough, I need to say this, we have so many people on the bench today who do not know the seriousness of the position they occupy. People at the bench, they are the ones that interpret laws. Look at the mess that is coming out of our court. particularly, the Supreme Court, right? You read some judgment, you wonder, did I really obtain my LLB? Because it's totally out of sync with the fundamentals, we are used to. And you wonder, maybe extra-legal consideration they are involved in. But at times, such judgments are churned out without giving serious consideration to its impact on the society. Are we together? So the legal profession is a profession of influence, right? Thank you so much. 2 minutes. You've added to it. It should be less than that. But I think it's period of grace, right? And of course, those of us who practice the law also, right? We all know what we do. There are some crazy things that will not be coming from the court if they do their job rightly. And not all lawyers do their job correctly. Because for many lawyers, the objective is just, let me make my money. But we are ministers in the temple of justice. Our role is more than that. A lawyer that can't speak truth to his client is not helping the profession, neither is he helping the society. So, legal profession, very important. Now, quickly, I will just mention 1 or 2 points, then I will finish. How do you become an authentic leader? Number 1, integrity, please. Integrity. Let integrity be your watchword. What is integrity? Integrity simply means what you are saying is what you will do, or what you are doing is what you are saying. That's integrity, right? Integrity matters a lot. Once you compromise on the issue of integrity, you can never be an authentic leader, right? And once people know that you lack integrity, even if they are following you before, they will start dropping off. So integrity matters a lot. Apart from integrity, self-discipline is important. You have to know how to discipline yourself. We all face temptation. Clients come to meet you. They will give you big money, either to see judges or to do what. You can make good money and people might not even know. But if you don't have self-discipline, if the only thing that matters to you most in life is, pursuing material things, you will compromise. And when you do that, you are destroying the cause of justice, which is not supposed to be what a lawyer should get involved in. And let me say this, if you're a person of integrity, right, it might take some time, but everything you are looking for, you will still get it. Once you establish that reputation, people will look for you. Are we together? People will look for you. They will look for you. So, the next point on this is you need to develop positive attitude to life. Attitude matters a lot in life. In leadership, effective leadership, you can't afford to be negatively minded. Always be positive, right? And the last one I will mention is you need to be a change agent. But if you want to be a change agent, the change you desire must start from you yourself. And there won't be any urge for you to change if you don't know that there is something better that could replace what you are doing. And that is why in authentic leadership, you need to invest in yourself. I'm so happy they organized this meeting. I'm sure by the time we are leaving, you will have picked one thing or the other that will help you in your journey to become an effective leader. Attend programs, workshops like this. Ensure you buy books, not just law books, right? Read, develop yourself. Move around, go for conferences, exchange ideas with people. Because if you don't know what to obtain somewhere else, you might think what you are doing is the best. But by the time you know that there is something better than what you are doing, the urge will always be there. Let's do something better. With this, I want to thank the organizers of this program once again for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to just share this little thought of mine. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. Once again, I want to thank our host, Reverend Professor Greg Rabo. Thank you so much, sir. And I want to welcome my Lord. He's my Lord now. We are classmates, LLB. Honorable Justice Femi Akande is my very good friend. You are welcome, my love. Thank you so much.
Are we not happy? Did we not learn anything? Can we rise up and clap like we actually mean it? Can you clap like you mean it? I still see some of us sitting down. Thank you. You can all have our seat. If you have any questions, kindly write it down, and we'll be able to take all questions at the end of all 3 sessions. And right now, I'll be taking the citation of... Just give me a minute. Okay, right now, we'll be taking a spoken word performance.
And Kehinde. And this morning, this afternoon, I want to present my spoken word titled, The Power of Authentic Leadership. Enjoy. If I was to change the world, without build it with bricks, sands, and cement it into the picture I want, would I mold it with clay, or maybe crayon it into the color I want? Would I create a man I want? Would I see? So, I once asked a lady, if you were to change the world, how would you do that? Then she said, how can I even change the world? Isn't that too big for a person to do? I mean, is that even possible? So I asked myself, how can I change the world? Then a question popped into my heart. How was it polluted in the first place? It started with a boil turning to turmoil, eating deep, never to heal. It started with a spark turning to wildfire. It started with taking little out of his money wouldn't matter. It started with, oh, let me pick this. It will not even affect the whole thing. Covetousness turning to greed wars and the national grid. It started like a little erosion involving our valuables. So I asked another person, if you were to change the world, how would you do that? Then she said, everything lies in the power of our leaders. Then I asked myself, who is the leader? Is he a leader because he controls multitude, sitting majestically on his throne saying, I call the shot here? Or is he a leader if he can't follow? Is he a leader if he can't even listen to his followers? Questions of doubt fills my heart like the waters covers the sea. So, do leaders also need to learn? Like teachers listening to the gentle voice of a student saying, Ma, I think we have to do it this way. Let's look at it this way. Like fathers not imposing their wills on the children. Like religious leaders not seeing themselves as gods. Like governors saying, what we yield, and begin to work in this effect. Leaders who do not become another man the moment they mount on the title. So, that is the only way you can change the world. And you are not the leader the moment you are titled to be the leader. You are the leader the moment you are in charge of little things in place of authority, sharing stuffs. And I want to ask you, would you be a leader with a crown or a leader with a heart? Thank you.
That was really beautiful. That was really beautiful. I'm going to come and take some sessions from you. Okay. Before we go to the next session, I'll just be saying a little bit from our first session by Professor Adedeji. And I want us to also be introspective and look at the lessons we might have learned from that session so that we don't just finish here and go to our respective homes and it won't look like we learned anything from here today. One thing I learned from here today is that leadership is influence. Leadership is influence. And influence is the capacity to impact people or touch them in such a way that they respond to that particular impact. The second thing I'll just be saying is, actually I learned quite a lot, but I'm just taking out key things. Self-discipline. Self-discipline. And I think that's one of the major challenges we actually have when it comes to our personal lives, leading ourselves, self-discipline, self-leadership, be able to lead yourself. And next, on our second session, will be taken by Honorable Justice B.A. Akande of the High Court of Osun State. I'll be taking his citation very shortly. Okay. Honorable Justice Babafemi Abimbola Akonde was appointed as a judge of the High Court of Justice, Osun State, on the 10th of March 2021. He has since served in Modakeke and Ile-Ife judicial divisions with a resounding applause. Let's stand up, please. Let's rise on our feet and welcome our second guest speaker. Thank you.
Let's have a seat, please. Good morning, everyone. I thank you for having me. I first of all want to tender my apology for coming rather late. I'm so sorry. It was as a result of certain other official duties beyond my control. Please bear with me. I feel highly honored and grateful for being counted worthy to be a speaker before this August gathering. And I am to talk about authentic leadership for the new wig to a standing lawyer at the bar and the bench. I am so happy that I had the opportunity of listening to my amiable friend, the erudite professor of law, and a perfect gentleman to the core, Professor Adedeji. Would you give him a round of applause? My prof, you've done well. It shall be well with you. I had the opportunity of listening to the prof, and to a very large extent, my lecture has similar characteristics to what the learned prof has said. So I will not waste much of your time. I will just add to the existing knowledge that the prof has imparted into us. Also, I recognize the presence of our father in the Lord, Professor Irabo. Daddy, thanks for having us. You will live long, sir. Like I said earlier, it's all about authentic leadership. And the learned professor has done justice to it. But let me just say a few words of my own to accentuate what the learned professor has said. Now, this is a very relevant topic to discuss at this time in the history of our dear nation and in the legal profession. The topic is most important, not only in evaluation of the role of the bar and the bench in the development of the nation and the profession, but it is also important in sensitizing the upcoming lawyers, that is young lawyers, in their duty, not only to themselves, in their personal development, but also in their duty to the legal profession and the nation as a whole. Now, what is the meaning of leadership? In simple terms, leadership is the art and science of leading a group of people or organization. It is an art because it flows from God, giving talent or acumen deposited in every individual of full understanding. In other words, it is an inherent quality in man donated by God. On the other hand, it is a science because it is organized, it is systematized, and a branch to be consciously learned through study. Both of these are necessary in the life of man. This means that man must embrace the inherent quality of the authority and explain it, but must also make positive effort to learn it. The topic, as I've said earlier, is most relevant, having regard to the Nigerian situation. It is beyond controversy that the nation is still grappling with problems that ordinarily ought to have been the problem that have been settled long time ago. Issues like power generation, water supply, industrialization, provision of basic amenities ought not to be challenges to us, having regard to not only the age of the country, but also the presence of natural resources and human resources that abound in this nation. The issue is, what is wrong with our nation that has also affected the legal profession and the bench and the bar put together? I want to make an observation about this topic. I am mandated to speak about the authentic leadership. Authentic leadership is otherwise called genuine leadership. A leadership that is not genuine or authentic within the ambit of this paper is not leadership. It is a fraud. In the course of this lecture, whenever I say leadership, it actually means authentic or genuine leadership. I must acknowledge that the society is plagued with impostors who parade themselves as leaders. This incident is not localized to Nigeria alone. It is all around the world, including the so-called first world countries. Leadership, what it entails. Leadership in the true essence is all about making positive difference while leading other people. I'm sorry. It entails leaving a legacy that endures for the greater good of the society. It entails making precedent a beacon of light and hope that will guide future generations in their march through history. Right from the very beginning of the existence of man, God created the position of leadership to make for orderliness. Remember the story of Adam and Eve? In the book of Genesis, even before the creation of Eve, God has given Adam the mandate to lead, supervise his work, keep the garden, and have dominion over everything. With the creation of Eve, God made Adam the leader for a smooth course of living. What we learn from the book of Genesis is that when Adam failed, it was as a result of the failure of leadership. Then consequences followed. Man lost his glory ever since, and it was only by his grace that we are redeemed by doing God's will. I'm aware that this is not a spiritual thesis, but what I'm trying to say is that leadership is God's ordained. It is a natural concept. And it was fashioned by man to make for order and good living. In my research on the topic, I've consulted so many sources, but I'm not satisfied with some of them. But I was led by the Spirit to address this topic in my own peculiar way. Now we go to the qualities of leadership. A leader inter pares. That is the first among equals. He may be a leader of a body or a group of people invested with the power to make rules and law, which are not only binding on the followers, but it must also be binding on the leaders. Leadership does not import superiority in any form. It is a grace, a mandate on a person or group of persons to lead for some time for the common good, nothing more, nothing less. In its pristine sense, it is a call to duty, a call to lead in terms of adversity, a call to sacrifice, which may even be a right to live. A leader must have the following qualities. He must have integrity. That is, he does whatever he says, his word is sacrosanct and must be genuine. Then he must have vision. All these things I'm happy the learned prof has talked about. He must have vision. That is the ability to be proactive, to think deep into the future. Then thirdly, then he must have the inspiration and the ability to impart the inspiration. When you lead by example. When you lead by example, your followers follow you. If you are not afraid to lead, whatever you do as a leader, your followers will be looking at you. I can still remember the story of Napoleon Bonaparte, one of the greatest generals in history. Notwithstanding the fact that he was the leader of France, in most of the battles that he led personally. Somebody like Alexander the Great too, he will not sit at the back. He was leading. They have vision. You lead by example, and your followers will follow you. Then we talk about empathy and emotional intelligence. What do we mean by empathy and emotional intelligence? That is the ability to gauge, the emotions of your followers. When they are sad, you don't gallivant all about. You identify with them. When they grieve, you grieve with them. When they have joy, you enjoy with them. But he will assert his right as he will tell you that this is my court. He may frustrate you. He may disgrace you. But you must develop this skin. And as a judge, I've been the victims of so many petitions, of so many frivolous petitions written against me. That is the position of leadership. It's not that you are better than others. No. But you must be resilient. You must persevere. Because in your journey, in this legal profession, there will be so many challenges. You may even know more than a judge. It happened to me on so many occasions when I was in practice. There was a particular instance in this dispensation of front loading. I wanted to contradict a witness with a previous statement that he had made in writing. When I was cross-examining the witness, I brought out the former statement that the witness made. Then the counsel on the other side said, Akande, you cannot do it. You did not front load it, and you did not plead. And I told him, it is not necessary I must plead it, since I want to use it to discredit your case. It is not to establish my own case. Unfortunately, the learned judge who was handling the matter did not know that position of the law. And as I was then, I decided that, okay, my Lord, adjourn this matter for me. The judge said no. Where is your authority? I said, when you adjourn it, I'll bring my authority. He said no. On that day, the judge awarded a sum of 50,000 naira against me to be paid personally. Those are the kind of challenges that you meet. You meet a judge that is full of himself. You meet a judge that is not ready to learn. But as a lawyer, you need to be resilient. You need to persevere. Always remember the fact that it is not everything that a judge knows. Though he's presumed to know, but he does not know everything. I know that my learned professor attests to that. As erudite as he is, it is impossible for a lawyer to know every principle of law. So a lawyer must be resilient. A leader must persevere. Then I want to talk about collaboration. A leader must be able and willing to collaborate with others. Because like I said earlier, you don't know everything. You cannot know everything. You have to collaborate. Collaborate with your colleagues. As a leader, there's nothing stopping you from giving assignment to your juniors. Go and do this. Go and do that. Then there's accountability. An effectual leader must be accountable. He must own up to his fault. He must own up to his fault. As a leader, that does not mean that you are infallible. You see even so many Supreme Court decisions. Though the Supreme Court is a court that is normally seen as an infallible court, but they know. So that is the reason there's opportunity for a lawyer to ask the Supreme Court to depart from its own previous decision. Because nobody knows everything. So you have to be accountable. Then I'll go ahead. Now, leadership in the legal profession. The legal profession is part of the general society. And the same rule that apply to the general leadership also apply to the legal profession, to the lawyers that want to get to the pinnacle of their profession. The legal profession is relevant in so many ways in the society. In the first instance, it helps the individual at a personal level. And secondly, it benefits the society at large. The legal profession is a noble profession that is relevant in every aspect of the society. It regulates man from his birth to his death. Every facet of the life of a man is regulated by laws which must be obeyed. That is what it makes the legal profession the most important profession in the world. Because it permeates every facet of your life, right from birth to death. Everything. Everything. There is a law regulating burials. There is a law regulating birth. So, as rightly said by the learned prof, he said it. That is the reason the legal profession is the most important profession in the whole world. Because life itself is made up of webs, and that webs is tied together by laws between two individuals. Is a law that guides them between mother and father, between father and son. There's a law guiding everything. So, in my own view, the legal profession is the most important profession in the world. The society is made up of different fabrics, swing together by laws, which are interpreted and explained to the society. The concept of the rule of law is therefore the most important cornerstone in the life of man. All of us are sitting down here. We are regulated by laws. I have no right to slap anybody. There is a law. If we are not granted the permission or the license or there's a contract, otherwise, all of us will go in for trespass. Professor Rebo can say that, yes, all of us, that we are trespassers. And you know the meaning of trespass? The slightest entry into another person's land. Now, all of us, we are sitting down here comfortably. Why? Because of the existence of a law. There is a contractual relation somewhere. It may be that a lease or a license or whatever. Let me state here that God himself made law for man to comply with. And man will be judged accordingly in respect of that laws. The cumulative effect is that the existence of law put in place by a member of the legal profession or authority or as automatic leaders in the society. Now, what I'm saying here is that it is not so clear to me because I wrote this thing already this morning. As lawyers, our tool of trade is the law. Though the court interprets the law, but it is the members of the legal profession that aids the court. And as lawyers, by natural extension, we are automatic leaders. If a landlord wants to eject a stubborn tenant, it is a lawyer that is going to go to. If a person wants to divorce his or her husband, it's a lawyer that is going to go to. There's nothing anybody can do. There's no step anybody can take without consulting the lawyer. So that makes us automatic leaders in the society.
Incoming call from Javier Lau identified by Truecaller.
There is hardly any modern nation where lawyers do not play leadership role whether in their quest for independence from slavery or in their quest for meaningful development. I'll now give you an example. In the ancient Israel, we have Moses as the first lawgiver. Then we have Apostle Paul. Apostle Paul was a lawyer. He wrote most of the epistles in the New Testament were written by Apostle Paul. He was a lawyer. He was trained by Gamaliel. Now, ancient Greece, we have Socrates, we have Solon, and we have Demosthenes. In ancient Rome, Julius Caesar was a lawyer. Cicero was a lawyer. Cato was a lawyer. All these people, they were leaders in their time. Now, when we go to maybe to the early church, most of the fathers of the early church, they are lawyers. We have Tertullian, we have Apostle Paul. Then let's go to England. Their leaders who are lawyers, Oliver Cromwell, Thomas More, Thomas Wellesley, Edward I the King, Charles I, Charles II, Edward Coke, and Thomas. So many. They were lawyers and they were leaders. Now let's go to USA.
Incoming call from copyright Malawi identified by Truecaller.
Switch it. In US, we have Abraham Lincoln, we have James Monroe, we have Thomas Jefferson, and the rest. In South Africa, we have Nelson Mandela. Your home Nelson Mandela was a lawyer. In Nigeria, leaders who are lawyers, Sakpara Williams, Teslim Elias, Obafemi Awolowo. All these people, they fought assiduously for the freedom of this country. In Ghana too, there are so many of them. So, from the catalog of the names I've mentioned, from ancient and modern, a heavy burden is therefore placed on a lawyer in satisfying his personal aspiration for growth, but also in providing leadership for the society. A lawyer therefore needs a heavy dose of inspiration in order to excel. In my journey in the legal profession, which by the grace of God spanned about 31 years before I was elevated, I'm of the firm belief that the following are expected from a young lawyer for himself and to lead the society: hard work and strong work ethics. There's no other way to eat. You must work hard. A situation where at 4 o'clock, you close down your office, you are going to work. You have not started work as a lawyer. If you have nothing to do, you must stay there. You must stay there. Read. Because law is so vast. Law is so vast. You have to read. If you want to grow from a baby lawyer to a senior advocate of Nigeria, you have to read. You have to stress yourself. Stay in your office. Don't gallivant about. Read and read and read. There's no way you can read everything. Number 2, integrity and honesty. Gratefully, the learned professor has said so many things about integrity and honesty. Let your yes be your yes. Let your no be your no. When a client comes with a case and you know that the case is bad, tell him that this case is bad. Don't come to court to muzzle your way it will come to grief. And you lose face. You lose credibility. When a case is bad, all of us as lawyers, we know the position of the law concerning almost everything. When a case is bad, even if you want to go to court, tell your client that it is better for you to settle. You see, it is only novices who believe that in court we turn black into white. How can you turn black into white, for God's sake? It's impossible. We are not fraudsters. Because the court is not only a court of law, it is also a court of justice. And what do we mean by justice? Justice is from God. A justice that has human face. A justice that demonstrates compassion. You see, gone are the days when court now determine matters on technical grounds. We don't. I know that, like in my practice, I am proactive as a judge. I'm a liberal judge. I know that some of you here who have appeared before me, they will say, Akande usually descends on the arena. Akande usually descends to the arena. How would I not descend into the arena? Yes, now, to win cases on technical grounds. So that in the township, people will be crying. In the courtroom, you'll be happy that you won a case, a bad case. For God's sake, in the courtroom, we don't, you see, in court, we don't rob Peter to pay Paul. It is part of the ethics of the legal profession that when you have a bad case, tell your client that you have a bad case. Let us be honest. Let there be integrity. Let there be honesty in everything that we do. Then versatility. Gratefully, the learned professor of law has also talked about this thing. Buy books. Not only in respect of law, buy books. Read generally. You see? I want to tell you a secret in the legal profession. There are two major things that will make you to. I want you to listen carefully. When it comes to legal practice, two good things. Number one, you must have a vast knowledge of the principles of law. That's number one. And equally important as number one is number two, which is a good sense of logic. Because when it comes to cross-examination, you see, the best tool that you can use to cross-examine a witness, to get the best out of it, to get the truth from a witness, is the application of logic. Unfortunately, if you don't read wide, you don't have that sense. Because you know, most witnesses, they will come to court to tell lies. How do you get to the truth? It is by cross-examining him. So you have to have a good sense of logic, of the fact that their lawyers, their counsel are not of good character. So a lawyer must be righteous. He must be law-abiding. You cannot say simply because of the fact that you're a lawyer, you are not going to obtain your driver's license. They will embarrass you. Or you bypass this NEPA or something. They will charge you to court. And you see, you fall into disrepute. I pray that shall never be our portion. Like I said, you must be humble. Then, above all, I'm talking from the perspective of a Christian that I am and a pastor for that. Don't you ever, ever forget to pray. Don't you ever, ever forget to pray. You must live righteous life. All of us, we know that we are practicing, we are in Africa, and you know. You see, unfortunately, our learned prof, maybe because of the fact that he was being hurried, did not talk about that. In the typical courtroom, there are arrows flying all about. God will keep us safe. It is at this stage that I'm concluding this address. I want to thank the organizers. I want to thank the organizers, and I want to thank our Daddy in the Lord, Professor Irabo, and Professor Adedeji. I appreciate you for everything that you've been doing. Because there's no forum here around this place. Wherever I was called to give a speech, I always see you there. You are a pride to all of us. You see, it's a service to humanity. You grow from strength to strength. Yeah. For everybody here, I thank you. Johnny Mercies. Thank you.
We can have our seat. Can someone share something they learned from the second section? I don't want to have to be the one to take everything. Anyone? Okay.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, our guest speakers. I am Adigo Kenyola. From the second session, I learned that for a young lawyer transitioning into the bar, he is to possess versatility, which includes two things: having a good sense of logic and having strong knowledge of principles of law. Yeah, thank you.
That was really beautiful. Yeah, so for just a few minutes, we have an health talk, or a health talk. Health talk. Okay, so that we don't waste too much of our time. We are supposed to get to know each other in we have 5 minutes here, but we don't have that much time. So just turn to someone beside you and ask for their name. Let's walk. Get to know someone beside you. Ask for their name, where they're from. Connect. You know, we don't always have opportunities to have the justice here or the dean. And you might not have the opportunity after this session. Thank you. Seconds more. Did you get somebody's contact? Did you get their phone numbers? Awesome, awesome. We'll be going into our third session very shortly. But before that, I'll be calling on Miss Peculia Okeride to take the citation of our third guest speaker, Professor Gregory Efosa Erabo, and is the host, is one of the hosts of this program, Miss Peclia.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen and members of the, thank you very much. I will be taking a citation of Professor Gregory Efosa Erabo. Professor Gregory Efosa Erabo is a professor of medicine at Obafemi Awolowo University and a consultant chest physician at Obafemi Awolowo University Teaching Hospitals Complex, Ile-Ife. He's a fellow of the West African College of Physicians, FWACP, the American College of Chest Physicians, FCCP, and the Royal Colleges of Physicians, FRCP, Edinburgh, FRCP, London. A respected pulmonologist and global leader in respiratory medicine. Professor Erabo has served in numerous national and international capacities, including as president of the Nigerian Thoracic Society, vice chair and program secretary of the Chronic Lung Disease Division of the International Union Against Tuberculosis and Lung Diseases, IUATLD, and an executive member and council of global governors of the American College of Chest Physicians. He has contributed to WHO policy documents and served. He is the editor-in-chief of the West African Journal of Medicine, co-editor-in-chief of the African Journal of Respiratory Medicine, and president of the Asthma and Chest Care Foundation. He has authored over 200 peer-reviewed articles and abstract proceedings, 2 textbooks on respiratory medicine, and numerous public health booklets. Professor Gregory Erabo is a passionate spiritual and leadership mentor. He is the founder and senior pastor of Spokesman Sanctuary of Hope Church and serves as the president of Spokesman Communication Ministries worldwide. As director of the Greg Erabo Leadership and Mentorship Institute, he leads the annual International Leadership Conference, ILCON, where he trains and mentors leaders around various sectors globally. Professor Erabo was a keynote speaker at the Edo State Judicial Retreat for 2 consecutive years, contributing significantly to leadership discourse in the judiciary. A prolific author and speaker, his books on leadership and personal development include Your Time in Your Hands, The Making of a Great Pastor, and Balancing Life and Work in the 21st Century. He is married to Reverend Mrs. Ayodele Erabo, and they are blessed with 3 children. With a standing ovation, rounds of applause, let's kindly make welcome Professor Gregory Efosa Erabo.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You can be seated. As in Honorable Justice Akonde here today, thank you so much for being here. Our erudite professor, Professor Agbola, who is also a pastor too, and thank you so much. And also my very dear wife, Reverend Mrs. Ayodele Erabo, thank you so much. And then the distinguished people who are here today, ladies and gentlemen, and young lawyers in our midst. I come from a legal family in a sense. My own junior brother is a judge, and my elder brother is a blessed memory, also a lawyer. And on 2 occasions, I've been invited to speak by the Chief Justice of Edo State to speak in the judicial retreat, once in Benin, and the last one that was held in Ogun State. And then we had to visit the then head of state. So I've been in the society of lawyers, and I remember we used to argue, my brother and I, between legality and justice. And I read a lot of books by Lord Dennings and all the rest, talking that something may be legal, but not necessarily just. But I'm happy today that our learned judge made it known to us that law is not just being legal, but being just. Thank you so much. I also want to acknowledge the Almighty God for whose grace I'm standing here today. He is the basic central force of my life. And I don't say it by way of trying to flattery. Every morning, talk to him every day, and I just don't know how I would have been existing without him. And so he's the prime power behind me. And I thank him for this opportunity, and I take with all sense of humility to be here. Pointer. There's a pointer. Okay, sorry. Yeah, the pointer is here. Thank you. We are talking about genuine. That's something becoming principal. And we are talking that the word comes from two words, auto and henis, which is self-doer. So it's also a Latin word, authenticus. Okay. Now, the dictionary defines authentic as real, genuine, true to one's character. So when you say someone is authentic, you are talking he is real. He is true to one's character. It's not a two-faced person. Now, authenticity is about owning your voice, your values, your identity. You own it. When you write a document, you own it. When you speak, you own it. Wherever you stand, you own it. So you say that person is authentic. Now, William Shakespeare says, to thy own self be true. And someone who is not authentic is actually deceiving no other person but himself. Authenticity, Oscar Wilde, you know that great writer, says, be yourself. Everyone else has already been taken. One of the greatest discoveries of my lifetime is that I've never met any person who is like the other person. And so trying what is required of me to take the people to the place that I've been led to. And so a leader is actually galvanizing the aspirations of everybody towards that goal that is necessitated. So a leader's success is not his personality, his wealth, his fame, but did you take me to the place we signed the contract? Now, Peter Drucker was one of the greatest thinkers and greatest statesmen the world has ever known. And he spoke in many other fields. And Peter Drucker says the only definition of a leader is to someone who has followers. So it could be negative, as Leadersip talk, and it could also be positive. Now, what is leadership? Leadership is the discipline of deliberately exerting special influence within a group to move it towards the goal of beneficial permanence that fulfill the group's real need. So it's an act. You want to take the people, you want to galvanize. And that's why I tell people, don't struggle to be a leader if you don't have the people in your heart. Because it is not about you. It is about the people. When the leader is noisy, so loud that the aspirations of the people are not heard, the leader has failed. Now, as our prof say, leadership is influence. It's not affluence. Affluence is centrifugal, centripetal. Influence is centrifugal. No. But a leader is a man of influence who influences one. So when you say you are a leader, you can't be a leader in the state house when you are not effectively leading in your home. You can't be a leader among the generals who are not effectively leading yourself. You can't be a leader in a church who are not effectively leading those around you. So the leader starts in a microcosm before it goes to a macrocosm. He leads one, he leads two, and then his capacity for leadership grows up the ladder. All right. Simon Sneak, I don't know if you know him very well, he speaks a lot on social media. So leadership is not about being in charge,